Finding answers to the several questions that bog the minds of Nigerians is a challenge facing everyone. And that's why we keep engaging those we believe that have ideas to how to solve some of these problems we are confronted with on a daily basis. And so joining me on the special interview today is the Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Uchenna Orji. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Nigeria has been confronted in the past few weeks and months with worsening security situation, from banditry to kidnapping. The list is endless, and it has gotten to a point where even government agencies are suspected to be involved in paying ransom. Some people believe that this is a sign of failure of government, while others say that it is not necessarily a failure of government, but an unavoidable trend, confronting the entire globe. What do you think?
Well, you need to appreciate that the issue of security is a national phenomenon. It's not only happening in the continent of Africa, it's happening in other parts of the world. Even before now, we are hearing all of these kind of stories in other parts of the world before it came to Nigeria. For me, I think it's partly a sign of the last days, and two, a culmination of failure in leadership. That didn't start today. It didn't start with President Muhammad Buhari's administration. It's a cumulated effect of neglect, infrastructural neglect, human capital development neglect. And I think it does take a aggressive measure for us to really address and solve the problems. That may not totally be solved now. I'll give you an instance. When we are talking about lack of job, is as a result of mismanagement of fund, corruption that started even in the First Republic. And of course, part of the reason for the failure of the First Republic was the issue of corruption and bad leadership. So it didn't start today. But I think that we all are going to be held accountable. Not only the leaders, but the led. Because even at your different positions, you are a leader. You are the chief executive of an organization. What are you doing? You are the messenger. What are you doing? And every leader today was a follower yesterday. And so we need to do more to give sensitization, to be really sincere to ourselves. It's going to take time. But we require aggressive, immediate solutions from the various governments. I'll give you an instance. In Ebonyi State, we are very transparent. Whatever we do on a daily basis, you see it in the net. Everybody knows how much the state government is getting, and everybody is seeing that despite the paucity of funds, Ebonyi State being the least in terms of the federal allocation, we are about one of the states that are really doing fantastically well. Ebonyi State today is a flagship of excellence. It is really a center of excellence. Going by the infrastructure that we have on ground, by a government that doesn't have much money. So you have to lead by example, for the youth to see that you are really doing your best. Beside this, you need to also find a way of fortifying the security architecture of your place. It can also mean that you must provide social security measures, making sure that there is job opportunities, empowerment opportunities, making sure that people are self-reliant, self-sufficient through the provision of necessary amenities, environment for the youths, for the women to really go about their businesses. That way everybody will be busy. Morality is also very important. Our religious group needs to do a lot to ensure that we talk to the followers, because all of us go to church, all of us go to mosque. So who is remaining? All of us, those that are traditionalists, they also have a place to go to worship. We need to sensitize the people, even though this is like a sign of the end time, religiously speaking. But we need to do more, otherwise the world will collapse on our head. Okay. But God forbid.
From what you have said, it appears you do not belong to the school of thought that it's only majorly military intervention or involvement that could solve the issue of insecurity. You believe in the carrot and stick approach?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Fortification of the security outfit is one, but that is not all there is. If you fortify, there is no job. If you fortify, there is no good environment. People must take to the street to do one evil or the other. In fact, the best approach is not control measure, but preventive measure, which is what I'm saying. So I think that we also need to ensure that we motivate the security agencies, They are doing a lot, but we need to get them motivated, get them to fend for their families and fend for themselves, to appreciate the difference between morality and immorality, and decide to really work patriotically for the common good of man.
Some weeks ago, it took a military operation in the Olo area of southeastern Nigeria, where you come from, to address the activities of a group referred to as the Eastern Security Network. Please tell us what you know about that group and why suddenly it has become a source of concern to government.
Yeah, even though I am meant to be speaking as Commissioner for Information for Ebonyi State, but let me say as a citizen of Nigeria that the issue of Eastern Security Network is a product of agitation, is a product of marginalization, is a product of dissatisfaction with the system, as it were. But be that as it may, that should not change the fact that we have government and governance system. When you do illegitimate things just to solve a problem, supposedly to solve a problem, that has not made that action to be legitimate. So I think that constituted authorities must be respected, must be given opportunities, be encouraged, be given constructive criticism, and not for people to take laws into their hands. We have authorities who have the statutory responsibility to police the communities. And when this is done by people who are not known to law or known by the citizenry, it goes to the issue. You don't know whom I am, I don't know whom you are. So we need to really define some of these things. Again, I want to say that Southeast governors are doing wonderfully very well. They may not be too loud about what they are doing, but in the various jurisdictions, for instance in Ebonyi State, we believe that social security is part of the process of ensuring law and order. What do? We had to motivate the security officials. A time came when we gave empowerment to the wives of security officials in all the security apparatus in the state. A time came when the government went and did a lot of projects, provide social amenities for each of these barracks of these security outfits, including road, including light, including water, including giving them gadgets that will motivate them. Now, but beyond that, we made Ebonyi State a construction site. What it means is that we are not engaging anybody outside our state. If you are resident in Ebonyi, you are an Ebonyi person. If you are a native, whether you are resident or out of the state, you are an Ebonyi person. So you have you are eligible. You have the eligibility to take on into any kind of job, whether skilled, semi-skilled, or non-skilled. And that has really reduced crime because everybody is busy. Everywhere is a construction site. Take out the Ebonyi State of yesterday. It's the next in terms of flyover after Lagos and Abuja. Ebonyi has a network of road system just within 5-6 years that is better than any other state apart from Lagos and Abuja. Ebonyi has a lot of facilities, commercial facilities. We have airport that is ongoing. We have shopping mall that is the biggest in Africa. We have a community center. Who did all of these things? People of Ebonyi. It keeps everybody busy.
The southeastern part of Nigeria, made up of the 5 Igbo states, is made up of about 25% of the entire population of the country, and they cover about less than 10% exactly of the geographical area. Yes, this is an area that has seen a lot of migration of young people out of the region. Does this suggest that the land is too small to provide for them or to accommodate them, or that there is not enough resources to engage them, for them to be gainfully employed? Because wherever you go in any part of the world, in Nigeria and anywhere in the world, you will see people from that region living, residing, and doing business.
Apart from the fact that Southeast people are Republican in nature, they are enterprising. You can't catch them in a place they like going out. But what is critical is that in their going out, do they have something to work with? Do they have the human capital? Do they have the financial enablement? That may not be totally the true position. So what it means is that apart from the fact that the place is densely populated, we are also having a problem of rural-urban migration that may not be totally beneficial to the people of Southeast. So what do we have to do as government? The case of Ebonyi State, we have to provide the enabling environment, the social amenities, the power, the road. Of course, we have to provide essential amenities and social environment that will make people to come and invest. Today, we are looking at Ebonyi State that will be the new economic hub of Southeast, to be a haven for investment. And when that happens, you see our people from other parts living in other parts of the country and outside the shores of the country coming down home because they're seeing viability in all force in Ebonyi State. They have seen that you can easily make it in Ebonyi State than going outside, even though we have a very small space of land. But I think that it has not been fully occupied. So we need our people to come back. And that is going to happen if we have effective government, as it were, that can bring about the necessary incentive, motivations that will make our youths and women to come down home. And we need to also have a social program for the elderly ones that will also encourage them, the retired people, to come down home and invest. And that is the way to go. The Southeast governors are really doing fantastically well in this regard. But we require criticism that is constructive. We require support, moral, financial support from donor agencies, individuals who have made it from Southeast, who are living outside the shores of this country. A lot of us, we have problem of capital flight, we have problem of brain drain. We need to really revisit some of these issues so that things will go well in our country.
Earlier you mentioned marginalization. I remember you using that word marginalization, but let me just remind you that the 5 southeastern states have governors from the states. These states also have 3 senators per state at the National Assembly. They also have members of the House of Representatives from those states. This region also have not less than 7 ministers in the federal cabinet. So one will say that they are adequately and properly represented at the national level. Now the question is, who is marginalizing who?
Do they have the president? Do they have total robust economic development? Are the roads of the Southeast, are they all done? I make bold to say, yes, we have a new entrance into APC. The gains that we are having, particularly in Ebonyi State, is the gain that we are receiving from the current administration of President Muhammad Buhari. I tell you the whole truth. Over 16 years of the rule of PDP, we never had opportunities of having a good airport, international airport in Southeast. It was in moribund before Mr. President came and injected 10 billion naira. We never had even this most traffic leading or reading Port Harcourt Enugu Road. It was not in good shape except the current administration. These are backlogs of marginalization issues. But most importantly, when you don't have a fair representation, a fair share, equitable share of the national cake in quote. What is this national cake? To relate with Southeast the way you relate with other zones, by way of giving them opportunities to give a shot to the presidency. And these are all agitations. Of course, the aftermath of the Civil War cannot just be raised if the issue of fairness is not transparently seen to be occurring in a political dispensation. So these are issues, but then I want to say, no 2 wrongs can make a right. Agitation is not all there is. Protestation is not all there is. Issue of carrying arms is not all there is. We are all responsible people, no matter any part we are coming from. And I believe that we should speak for one Nigeria, where there is love, where there is peace, where there is a principle of egalitarianism. And that is the only way to go. The Southeasterners are really very indispensable, very, very important, very pivotal and critical in the development of the entire nation, because they have their advantage. They have the advantage in terms of, the fact that they are enterprising. Anywhere they go, they develop. They don't also discriminate ordinarily. But then I know the aftermath of old, issues of marginalization has made people to begin to think after, what are we doing in Nigeria? But I tell you, the people of Ebonyi State, we believe in one Nigeria. Okay. We believe in a Nigeria where there will be love and where there will be peace. Okay.
You have a lot of things to say about Ebonyi State, where you come from, is understandable, but I would like to still keep you, on the southeastern part of Nigeria. You know that the fastest growing industry in the southeast is hotel and nightclubs. I mean, that's a fact that anyone can cross-check, and that's a departure from agriculture that was the mainstay of the economy of the region prior to the independence. We remember what the region achieved through palm produce. What would you recommend? What is that magic wand you will recommend to the southeastern part of Nigeria to apply in reviving the country's economy? Because sooner than later, whether anybody likes it or not, crude oil will be a thing of the past.
Economic diversification is the answer. I remember my boss, the governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Chief David Umahi, gave a lecture during the, was it 2019 UNM Founders Day, where he came to give a lecture on alternative to oil. And he called it non-oil economy, the way to go. Now, the idea is that we need to really diversify in agriculture. What do? We need to take advantage of the value chain in primary production, secondary production, tertiary production. We need to also look at our solid mineral base to see what we can do. We need to look at the viability of our individual persons in Southeast who are very entrepreneurial. What do? We need to develop our entrepreneurial sector and vocational sector such that there will be industrialization at the long run. Now, what have we done in the state? We had to revamp agriculture, brought about mechanization of agriculture to reduce drudgery or non-interest of youths and graduates in farming. We had to also insist on 1 man, 1 hectare, which is an aspect of commercialization of agriculture, which we did. What do we do in all of these things? We had to really buy machinery, farm machinery, bulldozers, tractors, planters, seeders, transplanters. We have a lot of advantage. And going back to agriculture, you need to look at where you have comparative advantage. For instance, in Ebonyi, we have comparative advantage in processing. We don't have all the land mass like those in the north and other southeastern states. So what did we do? We had to take advantage in processing. Today we pride as a state with the biggest or highest number of rice milling plant in terms of metric ton. We have about 32 metric ton capacity per hour, which is capable of feeding or providing the rice need of the entire South-South. Okay. That has also helped us. We have a fertilizer plant that is 80 metric ton capacity per hour, which is also participating in Mr. President's rice programs. And that has really helped in bringing up the economy of Ebonyi State.
Okay, earlier you asked a question which I believe you weren't expecting an answer. You said you asked whether the Southeast had produced the president. Let's bring it back to politics, pure politics now. There's a school of thought that except the Southeast is allowed to produce the president in the next election come 2023, there may not be equity in Nigeria. There's also a debate that Nigeria shouldn't reduce the presidency to turn-by-turn operation. What's your thoughts about this?
As a matter of fact, politics is a matter of negotiation, a matter of trust and confidence, a matter of live and let live. In a setting, there must be majority and minority. That is why you must have a deliberate scheme or plot or plan to have everybody on board, having a fair share in the whole process. That is just the key issue. This demand you are talking about, nobody gives you for asking. It's for negotiation. It's not by war. If you go by war, it will lose you forever. And so I think that it is really very germane and apt that this part of the country be given the opportunity to demonstrate what they are made of. Some people would say if you give to Southeast, they will succeed. But a lot of leaders, a lot of growing people are saying we believe it better when we are in one Nigeria, because in a big country like Nigeria, you will be sure of the strength, the numerical strength. You'll be sure of being the giant of Africa. You'll be sure of advantages, quite a lot of advantages of people that are numerous in number. And so no reasonable person will be thinking about secession, will be thinking about separation in this wonderful God-given country given to us from our founding fathers. And so their efforts should not be in vain.
Okay. Now, apart from the 1999 presidential election and perhaps 2003, other subsequent elections had Igbo men running for president more than any other tribe in Nigeria. And people usually to say that it is difficult, or it will be difficult for the Igbos to agree. Let us assume that there's a consensus that Igbos should produce the president. There's a fear that almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry will want to be president. Is it possible for the Igbos to ever agree when it comes to politics in Nigeria?
That thought is non-tenable. In democracy, everybody is free, but what is important is for the generality or the majority of the people to now concentrate on a person to say, out of these people, look at where we are going. And in every zone, you have the best. You have, if you like, call it the most righteous. In every place, you have somebody that is very competent. How do you know competence and capability? You look at the track records. You look at the antecedents. And so whether everybody in Southeast wants to contest for president, with a combination of the other 5 geopolitical zones concentrating on one person, that resolves the problem. After all, even in the 2019 election, there were too many of them that came from the north. It didn't stop the Southeast from saying, look at where we are going, or Southwest from saying, look at where we are going. What is important is that we have a vehicle. What is the vehicle? The political party will come up to say, in this zone, we are picking this person. And that solves the problem, and everybody will now queue. So whoever is raising the issue that Southeast people always come to contest, if they let them be 100, it doesn't matter. It doesn't suggest division. It suggests interest. so it's no issue. Anybody who's raising it is just beating about the bush.
All right, that's a fine place to let it be. Thanks so much for giving us your time, Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Uchenna Orji, for sparing your time to be with us on this special interview.
Thank you very much.
And to you that watched, it's our pleasure that you did. Let's do it again. Thank you.